I'm back with, I don't know, I guess a reflection of my week as a therapist trying to make it out here in the Bay Area. The first thing is couples centers. So I think last week I talked about how I was applying to a couples center. I ended up doing that and they got back to me immediately and they were like, we're not hiring, which sucks because I've been thinking about this place I've known about this place for multiple years. Not a lot of people that work at my clinic. No, not a lot. There's a handful of people. One person I know. Okay, there's like 3 people I think that work at my clinic that used to also work at the couples center that I'm talking about. But anyways, they're not hiring. So I felt really bad about that for a day or so. And then I was like, okay, I really need to apply to another center. So I have reached out to somebody who works there and I was like, hey, do you still like it? They're like, yes. I was like, great, I'm gonna apply. And I applied. Check. I did that. Yay. So now I'm just waiting to hear back from them. This is not related to therapy at all, but something else I'm waiting to hear back from is my tattoo artist. I'm getting my first and probably only tattoo. And they said they'll get back to me in 24 or 48 hours and it's been more than that. But anyways, so I'm waiting to hear back from the couples center. Really hope I get into this one because, like I said, A, it pays more than doing child hours, and B, I don't know, I don't really want to work at a school, but if I have to, that's what I'll do. So fingers crossed, good news about that. The center is like focused on EFT, and I've done a couple trainings on EFT, emotionally focused therapy, and it's way more structured than Gestalt, which I think honestly would be a good balance for me. But anyways, that's the couple center. Second thing is update on my hours. So I've gained 9 hours this week, which I guess is typical. Some clients canceled due to random things, but now I'm at 1,218 hours. I made $325 in revenue this week, which is lower than last week. And for YouTube, I'm at 1,265 hours out of 4,000. This week has been a tad bit slower than last week. I had 0 client inquiries. Hello, cat. I've had 0 client inquiries, which is starting to stress me out, which is why today I'm gonna probably reword my psychology today. Now that I'm like done applying to couples center, I'm hoping I'm gonna focus more of my time on different directories. Yeah, stressing me out. I don't have any new inquiries. It's January, it's supposed to be busy. It's not busy for me. Random things I've been thinking about as a therapist. So this week in supervision, I basically brought up a client and I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And we talked about it and I've realized that I tend to almost I feel like, I don't know how to describe this concisely, but I think I get absorbed into the client's world sometimes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's how. And I'm like tracking them, which basically means looking at their body language, tone, what they're saying, and I'm like following them and I'm like on the same page. It's like we're on the same train. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's going on, yeah. And sometimes that's great because it's actually really hard to get that nowadays, to have someone like really listen to you and be attuned to you. But it doesn't work well sometimes when they're on the same train and they're trying to do something different. Because I tend to get on the train with them and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, we're stuck here again. Whoa. And then next week, oh my gosh, we're stuck here again. And I was talking to my supervisor about, well, he was mentioning like maybe it would be helpful to get into a state similar to meditation where you're noticing your thoughts and you're noticing what's going on, but you're more like an outsider. And that really helped me this week. And it definitely didn't happen with all of my clients. I noticed I was still like on the train with the clients sometimes, but other times it was really helpful to like be on the outside. I feel like it was easier to interrupt their patterns, or in Gestalt, like interrupt their fixed gestalt is what it's called. It's basically when like you have a pattern that isn't able to naturally finish, be done. It's like something gets stuck and then it like causes tension or doesn't feel good or like takes up a lot of our attention. A fixed gestalt. Anyway, so that's what I've been thinking about. And something new I've also been doing, because I think I mentioned I follow this Substack called Bad Girl Media, and she's really into tracking. To me, it borders like being overly productive to cutthroat and like everything is a numbers thing. So it borders that for me, but the way she talks about it convinces me that it doesn't get my like critical part out. So anyways, I've been following this person and she's really into like tracking different parts of your life, and a big part of my New Year's resolution and goal is like track different habits that I have. Some of them are like the hours I'm talking about, the revenue, YouTube watch hours. If I do yoga, if I go to the beach, I like to walk by the beach often. If I journal, like all these things. And so I was also thinking, why not like have a rough gauge of how I feel after a session? Not whether a session is like productive or if it was a good session, but like just very simply and very boiled down out of 5 stars, how do I feel right after the session? So I've been trying that and I think it's good because it doesn't feel like sustainable if I'm always feeling 1 out of 5 after each session. Like I think it's good for me to track what sessions feel good to me and what doesn't. Not that like that's what I should strive for, but I don't know. I think I was inspired to do this because when I was talking to my supervisor, I was like, I want to talk about a client, but I don't know which client I want to talk about. How should I decide? What's one way I could decide? And he was like, what's a client that maybe you really don't want to go have a session with, or you're just like not enjoying it as much? And I was like, which one? I don't know. I really like all my clients. But maybe kind of like, think about what do I actually feel? How do I actually feel after some of these sessions? And what is not feeling good? Because sometimes what doesn't feel good to me may be something I bring into the session. So that's also I've been thinking about. I do feel a little worried like how much I can share about my process of being a therapist. Obviously, I'm not sharing any client details, so I'm like, okay, I should be clear ethically. But it does feel a little weird to talk so much about like supervision of my process. Because I know a lot of therapists don't really talk about that. Okay, so that's my update. Things are slightly slower. I'm starting to get more anxious. I really hope I get into the couples center. Bye.